took a 20-second pause before. Anyway, welcome everyone to What Have We Just Read on Friday the 13th of October with Nadia and Mike and our jingle. Great. And let's just hope this is all working. So what have we just read today?
The first bit from Ecclesiasticus. I thought it was so profound, such interesting ideas about true and false wisdom.
It's great, isn't it? I love Ecclesiasticus. We didn't. The reading yesterday was fantastic, all about gossip, and that we shouldn't spread rumours, that we should keep stories to ourselves. Just such a great. It's just a great book. This.
Yeah.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Lots of practical advice that you can actually take from it and apply nowadays.
It is amazing. It really does live.
And here it compares true and false wisdom, because there's this phrase. Where is it? Better are the God-fearing who lack understanding than the highly intelligent who transgress the law.
Right.
This is such an interesting idea, which has been discussed by many philosophers later in many books. So,
Right. About being kind of clever, but it is interesting. It's similar to this one. There's the cleverness. There's the highly intelligent. Yeah, exactly. Carries on to say there is a cleverness that is exact but unjust, and there are people who abuse favours to gain verdicts. So that is very interesting, isn't it? Where people are clever but not necessarily full of heart, soul, and spirit. And I love also that last line, a person's attire and hearty laughter, and the way he walks show what he is. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
A person is known by his appearance, a sensible person is known when first met face to face. It is amazing.
Yeah, about the first impression.
First impressions,
how
exactly.
It turns out to be right.
It's interesting. There's a lot of stuff here about this sort of the inward. There's the villain bow down in the morning, but inwardly is full of deceit. It's very interesting, these ideas. And Vera getting in there. Thanks, Vera. A great passage. In fact, I'm loving Ecclesiasticus. What happens later in Ecclesiasticus? Anyone know?
You mean after this?
Does it all like this all the way through, or is it going to change?
I think since it's a book of wisdom,
right?
There's more, but I think we're reaching the end of it. I don't know how many chapters there are, but
these are things we should know. So we need to have a Malcolm here. Exactly. We've been missing our Malcolm. Malcolm, come back to us. We need you. We need someone who's actually got a theological degree or proper theological training, as opposed to us two amateurs rambling away.
The way you said, a real priest.
A real priest, exactly. So that was good. No, I love Ecclesiasticus. It's great stuff. And yesterday's reading, we didn't comment on it. I just loved it. All about this whole gossip and don't assume stuff if you hear a story, and question people hear something. And it's really it's just really amazing. It's so like full of about fake news and stuff like that. And it's like something that could have been written today.
Yeah, it's relevant
amazing.
today.
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was quite sort of poetic. Anyway, so moving on. Our next passage
from Mark. So here we
Mark 16,
read about the resurrection of Jesus. And even though it's quite short today, I think there's so much to say on it. Yeah, it is amazing.
I mean, it always says something, doesn't it? You can't read this too much.
Every word.
It's almost like a therapy, isn't it? It's like the words sort of massage you with meaning. It's really intriguing. It's like drinking a good cup of tea or having a good hot meal. Somehow it fills you up with something, which is great. But it is. I've always seen it must be really astonishing. You get there and it's like, how are we going to open the stone? It's like, the stone's not there. That's weird. And they go in. It's like, whoa, where's the body gone? And then there's a guy, a young man in white. It's like, who are you? And what's going on? And they're all kind of like traumatized and distressed. And it's like, it's terrible. It's like, when it's hard to know what they really think.
And they're also afraid of further persecution.
Exactly, yeah, they're going back, and what do they see, what do they think, they're sort of full of fear, and also when you're distressed, you have all sorts of weird things going on in your head.
Because it's already an act of courage, them going
Yeah,
there.
exactly. So you're just trying to think, all the little details, it's like, is that probably hot, and stuff like that, and then we're getting all sorts of anyway. And it is amazing. And then they went out and fled from the tomb, for terror and amazement seized them, and they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. So they must be really afraid. And we've got some good words. We'll be waiting for you to say something, Vera, to help us out. It's amazing to hear some words from Vera. It's amazing to learn that these women left the tomb with terror, but also amazement. I understand these are two contradictory words. One feels negative, the other feels positive. It's actually an interesting thought, that. And it's one of these things where you wonder what the original words said, because often there's so much inside a word. But it's a good point. This will come out with contradicting feelings. This is like amazingly wonderful, great, or is it super really ultra bad? It is alarming, and one does wonder.
And it's interesting what their reaction was, because again, it says they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid, which also sometimes happens. You just can't speak about it.
Exactly, and they're thinking, what do we do now? What do we do now? Who do we tell?
Because they thought people wouldn't believe, and they probably didn't understand who this young man in white robes was and what happened. They probably
and also there's sort of other doubts. Has the body been moved? Has it been robbed? Has it been what's happened? But
it's interesting also what the angel says, because he says Jesus has gone ahead of you to Galilee just as he told you. So again, all of this had been predicted.
Yes.
So
and they must have thought, who's this guy? It's like, who are you to tell us this stuff? What do you know? We don't.
How do you know?
Exactly. Who are you? I don't know. I mean, I guess they must have felt stuff, and I guess when the angels tend not. I mean, do angels appear with wings? I mean, no, they don't really. I mean, that would have helped, I guess. But
probably they can appear in any form, but
He just appeared as a young. Exactly. There was nothing in his appearance that would have suggested he was an angel. But anyhow, no, great, amazing, very, very important passage. Do not be afraid. You're looking for Jesus. Come back to us, internet. Reconnect. Oh no, it's not. It is live. We're getting some connection issues. Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? It's by singling out Peter, he gets a special mention. So it's and Peter, but also Peter has
a special role.
He has a special. He also denied that he knew Christ, didn't he? So he's probably feeling it pretty bad. But before Jesus' death, he actually, no, I don't know him, I'm not there, I'm not guilty, I'm not associated with him, nothing to do with these guys, I'm just innocent, thanks for the feedback, we're like, so he's probably feeling, really doubtful, and then Jesus is gone, and see, horror of horrors, I said this stuff, and he never had the chance to see Jesus or speak to him again, probably, because he'd been taken away into custody, then he was, flogged and then taken up to be crucified. So Peter probably never had the chance to put that right, having done that thing of denying him. So he probably feels a real mess. It's like go to the disciples and to Peter specifically, because this poor guy. I mean, I don't know, that's just a theory, but he is he is the cornerstone, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. So to reflect, he called him the rock,
the rock of the church. I'll build my foundation on you. Really interesting stuff. Anyhow, I think we've been gibbering on for 9 minutes, quite enough, without a real priest. So before anyone catches up with us and says, what are you guys talking about? We should stop. Okay, so have a great Friday, 13th, a wonderful weekend. There's nice church services here on Sunday at 9, 11 in the morning. And then hopefully, all being well, we'll be back here with some more of this, whatever we just read. Monday. Yeah. Bye. Right. Thank you, World 13. Can we end this thing? No, if I'm not wanting to start, no, we end. Oh, here we go.